Hey everybody, my name is Charles, and today we are talking about movies, more specifically, why John Williams is the best film composer of all time, which is obviously just my opinion, so it doesn't mean anything, but there's a lot of really great reasons as to why John Williams is one of the most widely accepted as being the greatest of all time. And while, of course, everybody's entitled to their own opinions and people like all kinds of different film composers for different reasons, personally for me, I would probably agree with the sentiment of John Williams being the greatest ever. And there's, I think, some good reasons as to why there's a good argument for that. John Williams has written more iconic themes that are memorable and singable as entire songs in and of themselves than perhaps any other film composer. There are so many incredible themes and movie scores. I mean, one of my favorites of all time is Hans Zimmer's Interstellar soundtrack. I think that is just one of the absolute greatest masterpieces in film composing ever. However, Interstellar to me is a lot more pads and repeated figures over and over again that are very memorable in their own right, but they don't necessarily create these entire songs that we all know and can sing pretty much from beginning to end. It's just a different type of composing, and I think they're both equally great. But if we're talking about the sheer number of themes that are written that people just recognize and can sing, it's hard to beat John Williams. From Star Wars to Superman to Indiana Jones to Jaws, I mean, there's just so much amazing writing there. We could spend the entire video just talking about the soundtrack to Star Wars. And it's more than just the theme. You think of Lord of the Rings, Howard Shore is, of course, one of the greats of all time as well. The music in Lord of the Rings is absolutely incredible. And when you think about Lord of the Rings, you think of that's the thing people remember the most from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's amazing. When we look at something like Star Wars, good Lord, how many different themes exist in the Star Wars universe that everybody knows? I mean, from the Imperial March to the main title and the love themes and like all of this stuff. It just sticks with you. Before we turn the camera on, Jake and I were literally just talking about there's Leia's theme and I don't know what the other one is called. They're these two distinct, very similar melodies, and they're just like, ugh! Yikes! It's just beautiful. It's amazing. And then very similar to that is the ugh, man. What a sound to really encompass the sort of mysteriousness of space. And it's something that the Interstellar soundtrack actually, I feel, does as well in a completely different way. This particular love theme, I think, is an interesting one to look at because we start out in a way that is maybe typical of what you might expect a love theme to sound like. We have that one chord to the minor 4 chord, so in this case it's D major, and then the next thing we're using is G minor, although we're keeping the D in the bass. Get your jokes out now, thank you very much. So we have, there's that minor 4 chord. These are the types of chords that I feel like really make the Star Wars soundtrack sound super unique and give it that kind of mysteriousness to it that you might expect a space theme to kind of have. The other one, I don't remember the names of these. Same type of deal, 1 chord to the minor 4. Then What an interesting sequence of chords. The orchestral writing in here, the arranging, the counter melodies, they all work together to create this incredibly memorable and singable theme. And I think that's one of the things that makes a lot of movie themes, not just John Williams, but many different movie themes, so iconic, is our ability to remember them and sing along to them. And not all movie scores can do this. And granted, not all of them are trying to do that, but I've always found that for me personally, just what I look for, I guess, in memorable music. I mean, these things that we can remember and sing along to, those are my favorite. So I mean, obviously, I would say the Star Wars theme has got to be most popular, I would imagine, but there's so many great ones. I mean, Indiana Jones. I mean, there we get a very similar type of style with the love theme, as we heard in Star Wars. I mean, it even uses the minor four chord again. You get these pictures that are painted of the emotional palette of the movie and of these scenes. And what we wind up with is, over time, as we remember a lot of these themes and we sing along with them, they become synonymous with the emotional palettes that they were designed to elicit. They just make you feel like, when you hear the Star Wars theme, it just feels like space. They just work. Take, for example, the love theme from Star Wars. Does it elicit that emotional response because inherently the music, the way it's written, would just naturally invoke that response? Or have we just connected it to those scenes, to those parts of the movies for so long that we've just now associated it with that emotion? But that's how powerful movie themes are. I mean, they can create emotional ties to specific types of music and specific emotions just sheerly based on their memorability. And that's something that John Williams has done incredibly well throughout his entire career. And like, check out the Superman theme. First of all, what a great encompassing of this very regal, majestic sound. I mean, it fits the character so well. I've always loved that sound. It's on the 4 chord, but the melody is the sharp 11. So if the chord is F, the melody note is B natural, which in F major, normally we'd have a B flat. But what we've done instead is we've used this sharp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've used this sharp 11. And it's not that the chords are particularly complicated or anything like that. It's just the usage of simplicity, but yet in a way that just creates this striking, majestic sound. I've always loved, absolutely loved, that one specific sequence of chords in the Superman theme. I've never even analyzed this before. What is that? Yikes! Okay, so the bass note is traveling a tritone. So we're keeping this one, the C in the bass. What is that? Is it really just G flat major 7? It almost sounds like it would have a sus quality to it, but I got to figure out if that's actually happening or not. Maybe it's just it's kind of throwing you off from being in C for so long. You know, we're so used to this sound now because we've been sitting on this C pedal tone for so long, and all of a sudden we just throw it in. I think that's what it is. Going back to the top. Fantastic. Ooh, the E.T. theme. That's another one. think about what this movie is, a child and an alien, right? And think about like, this theme is mixing those two, I guess like ideas in musical form really well. I mean, this isn't exclusively like an alien sounding theme, and it's also not like a wondrous child theme exclusively. It's kind of both of those things together, but it ties together so well to create the vibe of what the movie is. Oh my God, it's so good. We could go on, and we could talk about literally every movie John Williams has done and how it captures the vibe of the movie. We could talk all day about the orchestral arranging and counter melodies and all of the incredible musical components that go into this. There is a reason that some of the most iconic movie themes of all time are written by this one guy. I love movie scores, period. I'm a huge fan of Alan Silvestri, Hans Zimmer, and Howard Shore, and so many other great composers, John Barry, and I think they have all done incredible work and added something incredible to the world of cinema. But my favorite, it's gotta be John Williams. It has inspired a lot of my own musical taste and my own writing. Movie scores are something that I think about a lot when I'm thinking about writing music, and if you've ever heard, any of my music on Spotify, for example, like you can maybe hear some of that influence. But I am super curious to hear your thoughts if you like John Williams or if you don't like John Williams, or who your favorite composers are, because there is just so much incredible music out there, and I'd love to hear your input in the things that have always been favorites of yours. So let me know in the comments below some of your favorite movie scores or film composers. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.